Let me ask you, do you think that the state allowed Malala to write a script, isn't it? It was revised until it is finished, given to the Butere girls to perform, practice, and be ready to perform. Is when the state is knowing that there's a script that's called Ruto must go, or Zakayo must go. So there are two things. Either the state is completely ignorant, completely clueless, and the intelligence of Kenya is totally dead, that Malala can go and write a script, finish his script, isn't it? Get it revised, practice, hand it over to Butere girls. It is published by them, isn't it? The script is done into a play. Butere girls practice until they are ready. So they only stop on the day of performing. Never.
And welcome back to Havana Media. My name is Professor Wino, and as usual, I'm going to be your host for today. Now, I'm very glad here to have Professor Fred Ogola, and I would like us to talk about everything that has happened throughout the week. Prof,
yes.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
It's been long since I saw you.
Yes.
I know you've been busy up and down. Can you tell us about where you've been the whole week and all that?
Yeah, I was in Naivasha. I was training some boards of pension schemes. And the biggest thing we were discussing there was that you saw that the Moses Kuria moved the contracts of civil servant staff from permanent and pensionable to contracts. And it is affecting the pension history in this country. It's going to affect the security of work. Because, of course, when you move it from permanent and pensionable to contracts, there is an advantage that you don't hold the staff for all this long. When they leave the contract, they get paid for what they had worked for. But the disadvantage is so big because everybody wants to retire happily. Everybody wants to retire when things are better, because if they don't get that good retirement, as you get older, as you retire, you realize that you have more expenses than before. You know, maintaining a new car is easier than maintaining an old car. So when you retire, you're becoming an old car. So unaharibu mafuta, unaharibu oxygen, unaharibu mambo mingi. You pollute too much. So even just like a human being, when you retire, is when you need more healthcare. Your needs are very high in terms of what you eat. You choose what you eat. But as a young man, unaweza tembea hapa within Kibera here, na tunue mahindi, na ukule, na ukisha tembea kidogo umekunywa maji kwa mfereji, you survive. You don't even have to buy mineral water. But now at old age, the doctor will tell you, don't eat this, don't eat that, don't eat this. In fact, they can even recommend the oil you need to use, so it's expensive. I was telling them that should I one day get a chance to be at a decision-making position in this country, whether as a head of state, the President of the Republic of Kenya, or head of treasury, I will immediately recommend that all staff must be put on permanent and pensionable, so that we can reverse all those decisions made by the president and the Kenya Kwanza government regarding employment, because there's so-called sanctity of work. You must feel that the sanctity of work, security of tenure must be into everybody. And some of us are working so that we can retire and enjoy life. If you go to countries like Europe, which is under welfare state, you see Germans coming here for long holidays. It's because of the money they had accumulated when they were working. So for us, you cannot retire. Some of us are thinking when you retire, you go to live in the village. Life in the village is very expensive, you know that? Because listen, in town here, if you want to buy sugar now, you can just walk not more than 500 meters to buy sugar. In my village in Ugenya, you need to cover around 4-5 kilometers. Everything is 4-5 kilometers away from you. 4-5 kilometers, that is when you find a shop. Yes. Look at how border industry is actually thriving in the rural areas. It's because nataka kitunguu, nataka nyanya, omena pale, obambo, karewe. So you realize that your work, the movement is too much, and you need money to sustain that kind of thing. So you cannot retire when your income is low. I remember there's something called replacement ratio. For example, if you're earning 250,000 shillings, when you retire, how much income do you continue getting? So if you are getting 250,000, after retirement you are earning 25,000, which means you only replaced a small section. Let's say you have just got a small section of what you used to earn. If you are earning 250,000 per month, and now you begin to earn 25,000 per month, can 25,000 shillings sustain you? So those are the challenges that are facing people who are going to employment. And if you go to Europe, more people have retired more than people working, and they're still being maintained. And for us here, we have less retirees as opposed to more people working, yet you can't sustain those who are actually retired. And I think that's not good. We talk about the inverted pyramid. For us in Kenya, at the base we have the youth, the Gen Z and all this, isn't it? At the top we have the old age, isn't it? So it's a pyramid, isn't it? But in Europe, you have it the other way around, isn't it?
Yeah.
The triangle is facing down.
Yeah, the triangle is facing down.
So at the base here, you have very few young people, because those guys have forgotten how to make children. You know that? They have forgotten how to make children. And there's something very interesting that, why am I saying so? First of all, how long do Europeans spend in bed, isn't it? They spend less hours in bed than hours in social. You know, for us, when we're listening in Kibera, as soon as the sun goes down, everybody goes to bed. So your parents could make more children. That's why my parents had 11. But no, in Europe, you have where you can go watch football, like you see Barcelona Football Club, you see Arsenal is playing this side. So they have a lot of social activities. The streets are lit in Europe. So you can take a walk, you can go drink coffee there, eat cookies. You also have money to spend at night. So for us, if we are selling a meal, lunch, breakfast, and dinner, do you have time to spend at night when people are asleep? You don't have. Then secondly, do you know also that Europeans spend a lot of time in romance? For us, we don't spend a lot of time in romance.
We don't know romance.
If they kiss for long, we don't know romance. For us, we just go to the real thing and the babies come out quickly. So time spent on kissing is longer than time spent actually on the actual thing of production.
And Prof, is it really true to say that the reasons why we Africans, most of us have got, we find that in a family you can get 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 children, is because one of the things that causes is also poverty.
Yeah, because you see, when you have no money, your options are very few. Your social events. A man without money is just bad, isn't it? But a man without, a man with a lot of money, you can even take a tour. You can travel, isn't it? You can go watch a movie. You can go watch a cinema. You go play rugby. You go play pool. You go play golf. Can a poor man play golf?
Where is the money?
Here is the money. So then their own golf is just one game. So that's why. But at the same time, they say a poor man counts their wealth in terms of the children they had. So my mother told me, Fred, I gave birth to you 11 people. At least one of you will succeed and then change my life. So out of the 11, I think that one of us made it early, then pulled everything, and now all my family members, I don't think anybody can complain to God for what God has given them. Everybody can feed their family. But one of us had to break the border. Mmoja alivuka border. Mwenye alivuka border ya kwanza akavukisha kila mtu. Wajua ukivuka boda kama uko kwa familia peke yako, you must pull the other people to cross over with them. So the poverty level in Kenya is amazing, and that's why you realize also the population is growing very much. And on this topic, I want to spend this time to warn somebody in Kenya who is talking about a lot of population growth. You heard this guy called Aden Duale. Duale said that the Somalis are very good in producing children. They are marrying more wives. And they are be able to have more children. That is okay. It's good to grow population. Actually, China has a high population. So high population is not a bad thing. But as an economist, we talk about the quality of that position. The quality of a population is not measured by just the numbers. You measure quality also by how much educated are they? How much can they access healthcare? How much are they able to earn in income? So Duale, I challenge him, and this advice to my brother Duale. Now you are a CS Health, and I'm sure you have no clue in healthcare. But what I can advise you is that now family planning is not my recommendation. So Somali community, give birth as much as you want, isn't it? But let him tell us how many schools are they building incrementally to allow these Somalis who are coming many have quality population. Because
Of
if
education
Kenyan citizens,
yeah.
if Kenyan citizens have got high quality citizens in terms of education, in terms of income, in terms of health, like today, I was in Isli. I saw they also hold the care hospital, isn't it? And I went there. I saw there were some things still missing. You remember it was so crowded.
Yeah.
And can't he talk about how to build more hospitals in Isli, but not just Isli, all the areas where Somalis are living. Like even if you go to South C, South B, isn't it?
Yeah.
We need more hospitals and schools so that as they continue building more population, which are going to be Kenyan population, we also having healthy people. You cannot only like your people because of election, because he's seeing Somalis as something to use
as a weapon
for his political interest. He's only looking at the large population of Somalis in terms of how many votes they can give him, but he's not looking at what quality of life should the Somalis be. Somalis in Kenya are respected as businessmen and women. But now time has to come when they're respected both as businessmen and women, but also as strong academics. I've met some people like Abdullahi Alas, the one that comes from Mandera. Very fine educated man, but he was educated in Switzerland. And he said that when he was growing up, he was living in Luya. He went to school in Busia. So why don't we build more schools in Mandera, in Moyale, in Garissa, to allow these Somalis we are getting now as young children to be high quality citizens by their education, but also by good quality healthcare. And then of course that will make them integrate in Kenya much easier than only looking at how to use them as voters to make them have power. And if they are not educated much, they cannot question people who look like Eden Dwelle.
They can't.
Eden Dwelle, when he speaks, he talks like a crook, isn't it? But he is allowed to talk like that because he's leading a population that is not accessing more education and more healthcare.
And that one brings me to this question, Prof. The whole week we've been having this narrative of the Butere Girls Drama Festival, echoes of war. And let me just ask you, I've been trying to look at where are the students and where are the parents. Like the politicians are behaving like the children, and like now the people that were supposed to perform the drama, and then the students are behaving like now the elders who are supposed to listen to the drama. What's going on?
Yeah, first of all, let me tell you that I have studied. I'm an economist, and I've studied what was happening in Butere Girls. I've also studied at what has happened between the changes in government, whereby somebody was a CS
health,
then they are taken to this ministry. Then somebody was a CS, then he's put as advisor. Isn't it? Why are you doing all this? And again, somebody was the deputy president. Then again, he becomes like fired. Let me tell you, there's something that Kenyans may not get. I've studied William Ruto and I discovered that all these things you see people clashing, where those who are in opposition are inside government, and those who are in government become opposition. All this is a MasterCard. Like you see the Machiavelli rule, confusing the population so that people don't have direction. Then before you realize they have been re-elected in 2027. All this is a game. And I can tell you one. How comes Gachagua is the number one enemy of Ruto and is insulting with some of the harshest words in history? Yet he has not been abducted. He has not been arrested.
He has not been summoned.
He has not been summoned. For me, anytime even I walk on the street, tear gas, isn't it? What have I done? Am I dangerous? I don't even have the money, isn't it? Why is Gachagua be number one critic of William Ruto, but he has even government security? That thing they said in church that was stage managed, that was stage managed. So Gachagua's fall with William Ruto is stage managed to delude and elude the population. It's disillusion. So there is no real enmity between Gachagua and William Ruto. That one, mark my words. When history will be written, it will realize that the only enemy of William Ruto was the Gen Z. These other ones are nothing. Even there is no true friendship between Raila Odinga and Ruto. All these things they have written a script, isn't it? There's a book entitled How Ruto Became President and Remained President in spite of the fact that everybody says must go, he's in power. He has come with a master plan. How to confuse people, throw in Gachagua, bring in Raila Odinga, Mara bring a team of experts, then also Butere girls and the rest. So all this is a scheme, and the Butere girls incident is now even showing me clearly that I'm right with my guess, that this is nothing. I said this in a clip when I was with you here. You saw, remember that clip? I said that there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way. I've been arrested 8 times. The policeman cannot arrest you the way they were arresting Malala.
Yeah.
Boniface, have you been arrested by the police?
No.
How can the police give you 5 minutes lecturing them as they wait to arrest you? Tell me that you want to arrest me. That's because I wrote a script. What have I done? And the policeman is watching you as you lecture them for 5 minutes. Tell me which policeman has listened to a lecture from the person to be arrested for 5 minutes.
Not even 2 minutes.
No, but it's always. You saw my video when I was being arrested. It was 30 seconds.
You don't even they don't even give you room.
Kwanza wanashikanga trouser, you are walking on your toes, isn't it? Why do you think policemen master the thing of holding people by the trouser upper? Do you know why nowadays when you go for demonstration, we don't go with the trouser? No, don't go with the trouser. Unavaa apron. Utanishika aje? Ile wajeona wanasema appeal nadi. Ile appeal nadi unashika aje? Hawezi. Lakini this one, they'll hold the belt.
The belt, yeah.
And with the waist, they'll lift you up, isn't it? Ile apron, you can't. That's why even on new generation aspirants, which we are launching soon, all of us will put on aprons. Wakikuja kushika, unashika hewa.
Unashika hewa.
Yes. So Malala's script is not true. Secondly, let me ask you, do you think that the state allowed Malala to write a script, isn't it? It was revised until it is finished, given to the Butere girls to perform, practice, and be ready to perform is when the set is knowing that there's a script that's called Ruto must go or Zakayo must go. So there are two things. Either the state is completely ignorant, completely clueless, and the intelligence of Kenya is totally dead, that Malala can go and write a script, finish his script, isn't it? Get it revised, practice, hand it over to Butere girls. It is published by them, isn't it? The script is done into a play. Butere girls practice until they are ready. So they only stop on the day of performing. Never. So there's no such a thing. This is a plan by the state, and Malala is an agent. Because remember, Malala was Ruto's #1 person.
In 2022.
In Western Kenya, isn't it? Then, when the government being formed, Malala was on the side of Gachagua all the time. In fact, when Gachagua was not yet impeached, Malala was always with Gachagua, isn't it? Then Malala seems to have pretended to leave Gachagua. Now he came back with William Ruto. Then now he's again creating his script. So what Ruto is doing called tribal balkanization, whereby Malala is being created as something to be followed by Western. Actually, Malala's script is to demean Natembeya, because they want another person they can control from Western Kenya. But that person needs to have followers, isn't it? So that they create a Malala who looks like someone against William Ruto. You understand? When Malala comes back and says, I'm the one who wrote the script, Ruto must go, but now I'm back, I'm telling you he's the guy, isn't it? So this is a script we can see. Gachagua now, all of a sudden, is now the kingpin for Mulima, isn't it? Wamunyoro.
Everybody is looking at
Everybody is looking at him, isn't it? Has Malala been released? Yes. Isn't it? Why Gachagua not been arrested? Does it not ask you so many questions? In fact, if at all the kids were accused of being of treason, the way CDF said, saying Ogola must go, saying CDF Hariri said they're saying Ruto must go, is almost treason, isn't it? How comes someone who wrote a script, which you can get evidence to take them to court, is being left free, and DPP has not found anything enough to take him to court? He has been told by Murkomen, who is in the Ministry of Interior, that he has used education system or used students for political purpose, isn't it? Do you know how dangerous that is? To use students who are innocent for political purpose, do you know that is actually corrupting the youth? Why has it not been charged? So all these things you are seeing happening is a Ruto plan. Because Ruto can only allow a plan which is his plan to work. There is no way Ruto can allow a plan which is not his to work. No, he doesn't. Because let me tell you what, when I just decided to collect signatures to amend the constitution to allow people to recall the president directly, before I launched, I was arrested. Yes. You get me?
So the guy can only allow what is his to work.
Yeah, so currently, what I want to tell Kenyans, and please mark my word, let us move away from this nonsense of current affairs. Oh, Wamunyoro. What is Wamunyoro? When the world is talking about the war, the tariff war between Trump and Japan and China, isn't it? How it will affect employment, isn't it? How it will affect productivity and the economy. For us, we are discussing about Wamunyoro.
Ruto.
Sivyo. We are discussing about visit to Morima, isn't it? We are discussing about Malala. I want to tell you, Kenya, let us shift the gears and leave this nonsense and distractions from discussing current affairs. Ruto wakes up every day to release something as a current affair. You keep quiet today, someone comes. You see, now even that day of the war between Tibet and John Badi. So those ones are distraction. Kenyans, mark my word. Let us ask the right questions. Whether Malala was performing or not, wrote a script or not, whether Gachagua left the government or not, whether when he was inside, the economy was not working. When he's outside, the economy is not working. When he was inside, SHA was not working. When he's outside, SHA is not working. So whether they come in, they come out, Raila was not with Ruto. He was in opposition. SHA was not working. Now he's inside, SHA is not working. So let us forget about all these kind of affairs. Oh, Raila wamesalimiana na Ruto, Raila ni mbaya ni msaliti. All these things are a game which the actors have written the script from page 1 to the last page. We are just watching their script and we are actually help them cheer. And we should actually just focus and ask the questions. Hey, is healthcare system working? Can you go to hospital and get treated? When can you get treated? Who pays for it? Do we have doctors? Do we have nurses? Are they well paid? Are they happy to treat you? Isn't it? When you go to school, is the education system working? Is CBC working? What is happening to the transition from primary to secondary? How is the junior secondary working? You are becoming like a politician by involving yourself on, I don't know, Mbadi is not working on the carpet. So if he's not working on the carpet, how does that affect you? If Mbadi works on the carpet, then for you have food on your table. So for me, Kenyans, let's be honest, I'm an economist. In God we trust, let's bring data. Tell me all those shenanigans you are seeing, whether they are bringing bread on the table. Be on the side of God, isn't it? Do you think God wants these things to happen like this? Amara kids are being tear gas here and there. Let us ask the right questions. Don't be a consultant. Let's be very simple about it, isn't it? Is the economy growing? In the current budget we have written, can this budget solve the unemployment problem? Can this budget solve the SHA issue? How much money have you seen being allocated to health in this budget? When someone removed 300 billion shillings from health and put them into parliament, is that person good for you or not? So the truth of the matter is, William Ruto and all his followers, friends, and whatever it is, cannot engage us in an economic discussion. So they have to remove us from economic arena to a political arena, because there they thrive. Because Ruto has failed to answer the questions why he was elected. Is there peace and security in Kenya? Is there stability in security, in economy, isn't it? In healthcare? Is the country functioning? Or we are on autopilot, isn't it? The head of state on the State of the Nation address has failed us 3 times. Every time he addressed the nation, State of the Nation, he has not told us what exactly should be the state of the nation. You should be telling people about how every Kenyan feels secure. Every Kenyan walks and looks back whether someone will throw a stone at them. Will they be abducted? Isn't it? Has abduction stopped? Isn't it? Where are our children who got lost, who have disappeared, no one is getting? Rather than discussing about Malala and this other nonsense. So, Bon, my questions to Kenyans, please, I love you enough. And my advice to you is this: stop being distracted from what you need to know. You elected a president with a mandate, isn't it? You elected a president with a manifesto. Economy is the third liberation you were supposed to address, not politics. And learn to be cheated that our problem will be solved at the ballot. No. If we go to the ballot without an idea how to solve our problems, we shall live there and we'll be told going to be wait. Look here. We chased away the white man to get independence. Yeah. Why? We thought that the white man was not take care of our good resources to ensure we get jobs, to ensure there is security, to ensure there is food, to ensure there is the economy is working, there is employment, and healthcare is working. So we placed them with our own, isn't it? When our own came, he told us, first of all, he's uniting Kenya, isn't it? How did he unite Kenya? By picking the cowboys who are working with Azungus to his government. Like the father of Salem Davadi. Those ones were chief who are working for the colonial masters, isn't it? They left away the true Mau Mau fighters who fought for what they wanted, isn't it? That's why Mau Mau people, they have not gotten what they wanted. Mau Mau people wanted to chase away Mzungu, take their land, and ensure food security. Because before Wazungus came here, there was no single poor community in Kenya. There was none. Zero. Mark my word. There was no one who was poor. Because there was a kingship system where even an orphan was taken care of. Isn't it? Now walk on the street. How many orphans on the street?
Lots of them.
How many homeless people?
Lots of
How many squatters? Before colonial masters came here, were there street boys?
No.
Were there homeless people?
I don't think they were.
In fact, it was nice to be an orphan. In my home, Luo, Nyanza, an orphan was treated more specially because they had no mother.
No father.
The elder person at home ensured they ate. In fact, wakipakua chakula wanawapakiliwanga kwanza. Here, orphans wanakula chini ya meza. Ikianguka. So what I'm trying to say here is that we waited. We got into Kenyatta. After Kenyatta, he told us he's still uniting Kenya, so we waited for him to unite Kenya. He didn't finish uniting Kenya, then he brought Moi, isn't it? Moi mismanaged the economy, so there are years that were lost totally, isn't it? But Moi, there are some things he did, like education was working. School feeding program, we drank Nyayo milk. The body you have here was made up of some Nyayo milk. So he did something, but also he left to somebody else. When Kibaki came, Kibaki began with transforming the economy. But again, Kibaki failed to unite Kenyans in a political way, but the economy was working. Now, when Uhuru came, we were being told to wait, isn't it? We are waiting because BBI was supposed to be passed. Raila Odinga, they did a handshake. They're uniting the country with BBI, building bridges initiative. Those bridges were never built because I've never seen any bridge to cross from. There's no bridge between Luo Nyanza and Mount Kenya, isn't it? There's no bridge from Mount Kenya going to Rift Valley, isn't it? No, so these bridges that were being created, mimi sijaziona. Mi bado natembea tu kwa maji.
Kwa maji.
Sivyo, tunatembea tu kwa maji kama Yesu. So Kenyans are being helped by God. Now, when Ruto took over, immediately he said he found nothing. Kulikuwa na panya ndani ya treasury. Sivyo. So there was nothing.
The coffers were empty.
So Ruto told us to wait. So we are now waiting. We are in the third year still waiting. Now he's starting telling us now, give me a second term, isn't it? And we are still waiting hot air. So that hot air you had that was being mentioned by CJ Koome, this is the real hot air. The hot air is that you have been president for 3 years and there's nothing that you have done to Kenyans and you are still asking for other things. You hear me? So that's hot air. Now, Kenyans have decided, let us go for election. That's why Kenyans are pushing for IBC to set up. IBC will be 9 commissioners spending 66 billion shillings to elect 1,882 people, isn't it? Then once they come to power, they start telling you, wait. All MCs are saying, wait, the economy is bad, isn't it? All governors are saying, wait. All MPs are saying, wait. All senators are saying, wait. We are going to change this country when you get a good president, isn't it? Now, in 2027, we shall get another president with no solution and tell you to wait. So, Kenya, let us forget about waiting. We cannot wait longer because your solution is so close at hand, isn't it? Your problem is economic. The solution must only be economic. You cannot give a political solution to an economic problem.
I don't have anything to add. And one thing I can say is that Prof have said it all. And to summarize it, what I can say is that sometimes you try to look at the mirror. And whenever you look at the mirror, you see your reflection. The question that you need to ask yourself is this: is the reflection of what you're seeing is really you, or is just an image of you from a different angle? Until we meet again in the next video, if it's possible, I have been your host, Prof. Bye bye.
Thank you, my brother.
Hey, Prof. Thank you. Thank you so much.
What do you think?
That one was good. Short, direct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, usidanganywe.